Welcome everyone. Today's presentation is about how to get the most from your annual or semi-annual physical checkup. Here are the component parts that make up your annual physical examination. This presentation will focus on the laboratory examination and specifically the blood chemistry screen. The blood chemistry screen is a direct look at the inner workings of all your body systems and is one of the most valuable tools in medicine to evaluate patients. When you go to your doctor for your annual physical, you get a blood screening examination. The examination will be one of the three types listed here: the comprehensive blood chemistry panel, the HMO blood chemistry panel, or a blood chemistry panel specific to your ongoing disease process. Let's describe these three options. The comprehensive blood chemistry panel is highly recommended. It will evaluate many of your physiological functions. The HMO blood chemistry panel is a minimalistic approach that has fewer tests than the comprehensive blood chemistry panel. It is dictated mostly by what your insurance company wants to pay for. Unfortunately, this is what most people get at their annual or semi-annual examination. A third option is your doctor may order specific tests to evaluate a health problem that you already have. This is of course a good idea, but these blood chemistry panels leave out other screening tests that are part of the comprehensive blood chemistry panel. These omitted tests could pick up additional problems you have or shed additional light on the health problems you already have. So if you get testing relative to a disease you have, make sure you get the comprehensive blood panel as well. Here is the comprehensive blood chemistry panel. It includes a complete blood count, thyroid panel, chemistry panel, iron panel, lipid panel, and additional tests. There are some minor variations to this panel where we will add a test or two depending on the presenting problem of the patient. A comprehensive blood chemistry panel is the most effective tool to assess the degree of health or illness in a patient. It is the ultimate tool in biomedical laboratory science to evaluate new patients and to track the health of a patient over a lifetime. It can also be used for a detailed investigation of specific disease states. Here is the HMO blood chemistry panel. As you can see, the total amount of tests are greatly reduced when compared to the comprehensive blood chemistry panel. This presents a lot of problems when you want a thorough diagnosis. For example, you can see that there is only one thyroid test, that being TSH, compared to 4 thyroid tests in the comprehensive blood chemistry panel. The TSH test alone is not sufficient to diagnose many thyroid problems. In our office, we look at our patients' blood reports that were prescribed by other doctors. Almost without exception, they have had some variation of the HMO blood chemistry panel at their annual physical. In addition, patients routinely believe that they have had comprehensive testing. This begs the question, if the comprehensive blood chemistry panel is so much better than the HMO blood panel, why don't all patients get it? In our current healthcare model, the practice of medicine is established by the guidelines developed by insurance companies. The goal of these guidelines is to provide a service for the least cost to the insurance company. The HMO denies coverage for testing they don't want to pay for by calling it not medically necessary. Medical necessity can be translated to mean those tests the insurance company can avoid paying for without increasing their liability of malpractice. The development of this type of healthcare model has made comprehensive blood chemistry evaluations obsolete in the HMO design. Doctors who use pharmaceuticals as their main treatment have bought into this healthcare model for several reasons. Since most drugs cannot be used for the prevention of disease, it makes the entire idea of prevention obsolete. Such a doctor would be reluctant to order additional tests unless treatment with drugs would be applicable. In addition, doctors are frequently evaluated by the HMO to assess their so-called effectiveness in the HMO setting. Physicians who order too many tests are considered unqualified providers. This may lead to punishment of the doctor by the HMO. There are many punitive actions that insurance companies take with doctors. It may be actions like requiring the doctor to submit huge amounts of paperwork and documentation for the treatment of his or her patients, or it may be frank dismissal of the doctor from the HMO. Many people in the United States have given up on the current healthcare model and are searching for alternatives. Alternative medicine has grown aggressively due to the void in the current model. Americans are now spending more money out of pocket on alternative approaches than they are on HMO healthcare. The public is seeking doctors that can provide them with comprehensive evaluations, early detection, and non-invasive treatments. These treatments include nutrition, supplements, herbal treatments, exercise, and lifestyle changes. A comprehensive blood chemistry panel provides you, the patient, with peace of mind that your metabolism has been thoroughly screened. You can screen for problems with blood sugar, cholesterol and triglycerides, liver, gallbladder, heart, immune problems, anemia, and much more with a comprehensive blood chemistry panel. Besides the total amount and variety of tests you get with your yearly blood tests, there are other important factors you should be aware of. Specifically, you want to know how your results were evaluated, and that is where the healthy and pathological range come into play. A range is simply the scores that are considered to be normal. Therefore, there are two ranges or two ways of looking at what is considered to be normal. These two ranges are the pathological range and the healthy range. The pathological range is listed on the report you get from your local lab, like Quest or LabCorp, and is used to diagnose disease. The healthy range is used to assess for risk before disease develops. In this slide, you can see two ranges listed for 6 tests. That is glucose or blood sugar, hemoglobin A1C, total cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL cholesterol, and LDL cholesterol. All of these tests have a pathological range and a healthy range. As you can see, the pathological range is much wider than the healthy range. For example, triglycerides, the healthy range is 75 to 100, and the pathological range is less than 149. Thus, a patient with triglycerides of 140 would be judged as normal by the pathological range, but they would be judged as sick by the healthy range. They would get treatment from a doctor who utilizes the healthy range, but no treatment from a doctor that utilizes the pathological range. For blood glucose, the pathological range is 65 to 99. A reading of 65 is way too low for blood glucose. Such a person would feel lightheaded, anxious, and crave sweets with a reading of 65. You can also see that there are two pathological ranges for both HDL cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. This is highlighted in green. This is because the local Quest lab and the local LabCorp lab in central New Jersey disagree on what is normal. Quest thinks that a reading of less than 130 is normal for LDL cholesterol, whereas LabCorp says that a reading of less than 99 is normal for LDL cholesterol. This 30-point difference is significant. As you can see, there is also agreement with regard to HDL cholesterol among these labs. Why are there two different ranges, the healthy range and the pathological range? It has to do with the concept of prevention. Many drug-oriented health providers do not embrace the concept of a healthy range. They believe that care should only be provided when disease is present. This view is generally formed from conventional medical training, which ignores the philosophies of preventative medicine and nutrition. You might be wondering how these ranges came about. The pathological range is determined rather arbitrarily. It is the range you will see in the blood report you get from LabCorp, Quest, or another lab. It is determined by taking all the blood results of a population of people in a given region, for example, all the glucose tests in central New Jersey. Then they determine the average score and set the range as 2 standard deviations away from the average score. Since a lot of people who take these blood tests are already ill and they take the tests more often than healthy people, the range determining normal becomes larger. In fact, over the years, the pathological range has gotten larger as the population has gotten sicker. The pathological ranges are also different in different regions of the country because people are healthier in some regions of the country than they are in other regions. Much of the research regarding the healthy range has been done by well-respected organizations such as the American Association of Clinical Chemists. The Endocrine Society has also contributed to the healthy range, especially when it comes to thyroid tests. The healthy ranges have been determined by looking at the blood results of people judged to be healthy prior to taking the blood test. Therefore, the healthy range is just that, a range of values for healthy people that take a particular blood test. Obviously, this is a much better way of looking at your blood test results. You can pick up the tendency toward disease much earlier using the healthy range. Please note that you don't need a special blood test to use the healthy range. It can be used to evaluate your results from any blood test taken at any lab. Now let's take a look at how these lab scores change over time. We will see how the disease process progresses and why early preventative treatment is so important. We'll be looking at a hypothetical but very typical patient. On the slide in 2008, all the values are normal if they are evaluated relative to both the healthy and pathological range.